I'm Kevin Phillips and you're watching Mariners TV.
Right, so Lee, a 3-0 loss today. What's your reaction to the game?
In all honesty, I don't think we deserved anything more from the game. I think if we're going to talk about a team that's going into the day with the results that we had, I thought we would have gotten something from the game. I think lack of desire really showed and told today. We had probably 3, maybe 4 out of the 11 turned up today. Obviously we had a few players that unfortunately let the squad down, obviously didn't even turn up today, which, you know, I think that I've got empathy with the players, and you know, we turn up sometimes with 12 and 13 players because you have players that are so unreliable, but hopefully we'll change that as of next week, you know.
Is something that surprised you today to see that?
Very surprising. The whole time I've been here at the club, I think the big thing for me is the one thing we have shown is a lot of character. I mean, you've seen the home game not so long back where you know that it was the club's probably one of the club's best days in a couple of years, where we really showed the type of character we have got, coming from 2 down to winning 4-3 in the end, and that just shows the character we have. Yeah. But today we kind of showed, like, you know, we looked like we didn't have any character. I mean, Chris Locke, our captain, probably had one of his better games today in the second half. Aaron Byrne did okay, but when you've only got them 2 at the back doing what they need to be doing, and probably Talbot playing out of position yet again at centre forward, who did a decent job, probably created our only couple of chances we had, you know. That just shows you where we're at today.
If you're talking about talking points, there was a penalty appeal in the first half. How did you see that?
Well, you know, you can ask the referee yourself for, like, you know, and in the essence of what I thought of that. Obviously there's a few choice words, so I'll not see any of those choice words that I had from at half time. It doesn't get any more obvious, and when the referee, when you do pull him to one side and say to him, so where was your thought process going with that? And he says it was in the middle of the park, it would have been a free kick, but in the box, I know. You know your luck's against you then, and to be perfectly honest, even the retrieval of that might have boosted characters a little bit, but the fact that we faltered away from that, yes, the decision didn't go, and you know, football is football. You'll get some, you won't get some, and you know, we've not really had a great deal of luck this year in getting penalties. I think we've had 2 all season, and to know that we've only had 2 penalties all season, it's some of the fouls we've seen, and yet the amount of penalties we've had against it just doesn't sum up, you know. But I think that comes from, you know, the type of players that we are on the pitch. We do tend to be quite vocal towards the referees, and I think that goes against you. And I've had that conversation with the lads, and I think, you know, from time to time I'm that way as well. So it was a very big talking point for me, and it will be for the next couple of days, I've no doubt.
The performance of the team today, what did you make of the overall level? Very
poor. I think if we talk about performance of a team, non-existent. If you talk about performance of individuals, as I say, 3 or 4. So as a team, just not good enough.
And there was a couple of injuries there as well, wasn't there? Barry Smith, Stephen Ramsey came off. What do you?
Stephen Ramsey obviously hurt his thigh in a collision. Obviously that rectified. He obviously carried on. So obviously big up to him for doing that. Barry Smith, I think Barry's confidence as well as anything else was shattered, and I think I feel for Barry more than most players, because the one thing you get from Barry Smith, and obviously he's one of the players I never mentioned earlier, he's one of them players you get an awful lot from him, yet we don't give an awful lot back to him. And you know, at times he's a bit like the Steven Gerrard of Liverpool for South Shields. He does everything, creates everything, and you know, the way we repay him for that, his performances like that, and you wonder why, you know, when he does get a knock he wants to come off, and you know, and understand. And Barry will be back next week, and hopefully we'll be back as a team next week, you know.
In Willington next week, what's your thoughts on that one? You lost in the first game of the season there.
We did, obviously Willington took it down, obviously 2-1. We had them at home since then, didn't we, in the cup? We beat them 1-0 in the cup. So now listen, every game in this division is going to be a tight game. I think if you look at Willington as a team, they've got a couple of strong players there. Left winger, I can't remember the lad's name. We put 7 days in for him back in the day. He's a handful. But as a team, I think they'll come out and give as good as they always get, and they'll work hard. I think if we can show half the desire we do have in the camp, I think we'll get a result. I think if you talk about not getting like any desire from it, we'll get nothing from the game again.
Just finally, Richard Latimer came in for his debut today. How do you think he did?
I think John brought Latimer in obviously for his experience, and the fact that we didn't have as many players as we wanted for the squad that we needed. So Lat has come in today. I've started him today based on obviously the fact of the unreliability of some of the players we've got. And in fairness to Lat's first half, he really struggled with the pace of this division. You could tell that in his legs. You could tell, like, obviously he's a more senior player. Second half he came into it a little bit. But for a debut, I didn't do too bad. I just felt a bit sorry for him in the fact that we couldn't show him what we were made of today. So that kind of summed it up for him. But I did okay. Good player, and I think he'll do okay here.
Just one last thing as well. I mean, Aidan Grant was on the bench today. Is there something there in place to bring him back to the club?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, Aidan's probably one of the best goalkeepers in non-league football. I'm very surprised somebody's not snapped him up already. Obviously went down to Peterborough. That didn't quite work out for him. I think just because they had a number of keepers already in their squad, and injuries was what they took him down there for. But I think in realism, I wouldn't be surprised to see him disappear soon enough to league football. When he came and played for us, he's a man mountain, as you'll see, but not only is a man mountain, he's a good lad and he's a good character to have around the change room, so he's a fantastic addition to have back, challenging Steve Houbrey for obviously position, so brilliant to have him back.